Yeah, welcome back again, guys. This is where we left off in the last video. If this is the first video you're coming across, you might want to do well to check the playlists. Okay, check the playlists to see other videos that have been made before now. Without further ado, we just jump in what we want to do straight. We want to learn functions. Functions are important. I don't need to emphasize that much, because in the previous video we looked at the basics of functions, the definition, how to write them, how to pass in arguments, the ones that are required, the ones that are optional, some that don't even take any arguments. We checked all of those things the last time. Okay, we checked all of those things the last time. So we'll just jump into the first function that we want to learn, which are textual functions, functions that you can apply on a text. Functions that you can apply in text. Now you can see that this data is a little bit messy. Okay, if we look at the names, they are not consistent. The emails, they are caps lock and all of those things, capital and all of those things. Here we have the phone numbers, they are not consistent as well. By the way, this is just a synthetic data, it's not real data. These people are not real. Coincidentally, you might know someone who bears this name, but no, they are not real, they are just made up names. Okay, that's very important to keep in mind. All right, very important to keep in mind. So let's see how we can work on this data, make it clean, clean it up, and we'll not just be learning functions directly, we'll be learning the applications, right? That's the best way to learn. So as I always say in most of the videos, do what works for you. If you have to watch all the video, you have to see the video to the end first, then you do it, that's fine. If you have to watch over and over again, that's also fine. And if you're the kind of person who loves to walk along, you code along, you're doing it, I'm doing it, you're doing it, that's also fine. But that would be more easier if you have two devices, right? And just open it up in one device while you do whatever it is you're doing in the other device. And yes, one more thing I used to say, or I always say, is if I seem too fast for you, okay, you can feel free to watch the video over and over again as many times as you want, or you can make use of the playback speed feature in YouTube to reduce the speed. You can take it to 0.75. that could be your pace. Okay, you're not in competition, right? And if I feel too slow for you as well, feel free to use the playback speed button to take it to 1.25, 2.5, 1.0, whatever it is you want. Okay, so do what works for you. Good. And don't forget, at the end of the video, if you get value, do what to give a comment, use the comment section effectively. If there are functions that I didn't cover that you want me to make a video on, do what to comment them. If you get more requests, I might just do that. Okay, because we will not be exploring all the functions that we can use on text. We'll explore some common important ones. Right, so do what to use the feedback at the comment section effectively. Leave comments, whatever it is you like about the video, what can be changed, what can be improved, what can be made better. Give it a like, share with your friends, and make sure you subscribe so that you turn on the notification for all new videos, so that when there's a new video, you get to be one of the first people who know that there is a new video. Okay, now let's jump into it without further ado. To make this more practical, the exercises have been framed as questions, the way they will come to you in your analytical journey, right? The way they will come to you, maybe not directly, but it comes in form of word problem, so that I can engage your mind and think of, okay, at some point in your career or at some point during your learning phase, you learned this certain function and you have a problem facing you, you want to solve it. Your mind can easily pick, oh, I did this time, I think this function should work for me, right? I think this function should work for me. So how do we do that? Let's look at the questions we have and let's see how we follow the video. Like I said, all videos are natural. You see the flow, you see the errors, you see everything. It's just natural. We'll just do it like that. So you can see the thought process, the pattern and all of that. You learn better, right? Not to refine and all of that. Let's look at it. So the first one, okay, let me take this back to neutral, automatic, good. How is it different? Okay, I'll drag this up. Good. Now the first one says clean up the names by removing the white spaces and standardizing them. You see, you want to clean up the white spaces. White spaces are extra spaces. You can see them. You can see them here. So we want to clean them up, right? We want to clean them up. How do we get that done? We'll start to think. The first thing is to think, okay, there's this challenge. What can I use? Oh, there's a function in Excel called trim. If you don't know, of course, you can click on this function and type a description. Remove white spaces, right? And you say go. Okay, it says please rephrase. It doesn't understand the way I said it. To clear extra spaces, go. It still does not get that. So to trim out unwanted spaces. Let's see if it's going to understand this. Rephrase my question. Okay, it keeps telling me rephrase my question. I can just go to text function and I say rephrase. Oh, I was about typing what it said. So that's white. Remove white space. Remove white space. Probably that will help us. It's not helping. I say trim. If I had to type the function, well, it's not doing much. So if I type trim spaces, no, something is definitely wrong. It should have brought out something. You should try it out. Let me know if it brings it out for you immediately. I'm sure it is supposed to do that. Okay, but you can give a description in here then to suggest a function to you that you can use. But in this case, the function we're using is trim. You remember how we start? The first thing is our equal to, so we can name this and say full name. We already know that this will be clean version. Full name. So we'll say equals to, then you type the function name. Trim. What does it say? It says remove all spaces from a text string. So let's try that. I see. Remove spaces from a text string. Go. Oh, okay. Eventually, our description was not clear enough, I guess. So you can see it brings it out. So you can give a description. Sadly, you might not know the right words to use, but that's okay. That's why we're learning them. So equals to trim. It says except for the single space between words, and that makes sense. Of course, we should have this single space between words so that we can tell them apart. So yeah. And what does it take? Just one argument, a single argument, and that is the text you want to remove spaces from. So equal to, then trim, open a bracket, you click on the text, and then you hit enter. Of course, you close the bracket. Okay, you close the bracket and then you hit enter. Then we can fill it down, drag it. Okay, I think it's up to this place. So this is what we have. Do not forget our question also says what? To standardize them. So standardizing them will mean in this case we have inconsistent casing, right? So how do we make it consistent? We'll do this equal to that will be proper. So every function we use will be typed down here. Proper, it says convert a text string to proper case, the first letter in each word to uppercase and other letters to lowercase. Okay, I won't be reading them again, but once you type it, do well to be paying attention to the function screen tip. Okay, so proper, then I can select what I've trimmed already, then I'll hit enter. And you can see how nice and clean it comes out, right? So I've been able to correct this messy data to this version. I'm able to correct this messy data to this version. Okay, now that we have that corrected, we can put them together in a single column, because we probably don't want two columns, right? We want this to be in a single column, trimmed and standardized, and this will bring us to what we call nested functions. But before that, let's write the two functions we've used first. So we have used trim to remove white spaces, and proper to change it to a proper case. Okay, put comma, hit enter. These are the functions we've used. How do we do that? What is a nested function? From the word nest, think of it as a bed nest that is interwoven, right? The way a bed nest is. So it means a function inside another function. A function inside another function, right? That is a nested function. Okay. So how do we do that? We put one function inside the other. So we want to put string inside proper. So this is we'll start basic because going forward we'll be needing it. In the realistic world, you probably have nested functions depending on what you're trying to do. You won't just be using a single function. But functions that will be well nested in this video, we'll do well to break it down first. We'll use them individually first so you know how they work before combining them. Okay, so we have seen string, we have seen proper. So let's see how we can do it in a single value. So say equals to string equals to proper first, then I'm supposed to pass the text, right? I want to pass a trimmed text, so I'll say trim. Now one takeaway is that whenever you are using another function in a function, you do not have to put another equal to again. So you don't have to do this again. No, just one equal to tells us that you want to use some formulas, or you want to perform some calculations, or you want to do some manipulations. Okay, so you don't need to put equal to here again. So proper, I'm saying I want to pass in a trim text. Then I'll click on what? The text itself. I'll close the brackets, close the other bracket, because in this case I have two brackets. And do not forget, like the way I've explained in one of the videos, that pay attention to the color codes. So this red bracket is showing me that this is the red bracket I closed here. I still have a black bracket that I'm supposed to close, and that is the one I closed here. Okay, all those color codes are signs, ints, and the blue text B3 is showing us where is highlighted, right? So all these details are important to pay attention to while you work. So I'll hit enter, and you can see how neatly and nicely it came out. I'll fill it down. Boom, we have a clean version of this messy value. So the best thing in this case is just to move it here to replace it with that. Since there's already data there, replace. Now take this out. Okay, so now this is what we have. You can see our trim, because we want them in a single column. Now we have answered question 1. Yeah, I'm going all the way to 7. So we'll put that on green. Shows we've answered it. The next one says, how long are the names before, cleaning them up, and after? How do we count? How do we find out? Of course, what might come to your mind is, of course, we'll use a count function. But in this case, we will not use a count function because we are not counting individual things. We're counting the number of things within a value. Yeah, that does not really make sense much, but you will understand as we go. Okay, so how do we get this done? Because we will not really need the length in the main data, so we can do that down here. Let's do that somewhere down here. Length, full name, and that's full name length, full name length before cleaning. No, oops. Before cleaning. So I'll drag this after cleaning. After cleaning. Alright, let's see. There's a function called len, L-E-N. It says returns the number of characters in a text string. Okay, so it counts the number of characters for us. So hit enter. This is the unclean version, or the dirty version, the messy version. I'll hit enter. It gives a theme. I'll drag this down. So 18, 21, 21, 7, 20. So it says this is 18 characters long. And do not forget, it includes the white spaces. That's why it's important that we treat it before we proceed, because this, if we have two of these, one with white space, one without a white space, they are two different things as far as Excel is concerned. Okay, they are two different things, so we have to correct them, make sure everything is proper before we proceed. These are preparation stages, cleaning stages, and all of that we have to do. So let's look at the clean version. The length of the clean version. This is the clean version. It's enter. Oh, 8. You can see we have quite a number of white spaces. See, this is 11 extra white spaces. This is about 7. Is that 7? 6 extra white spaces. This is correct. There are no white spaces here at all. And this has additional 9, right? In front here, you can see them in front. But this is perfect. No extra spaces, as it were. So it's important that we clean all of these things up. So let it just be down there, since it's part of our exercise. It's not needed in the original table, so keep it down there. Okay. Now we have answered question 2. So come here again. We'll do this and give it green. Now the next thing says standardize the email and extract the domain. I want to standardize the email and extract the domain. So we'll say email. Of course, standardize in this case will be to convert them to all lowercase. Okay, as the proper way it's supposed to appear. Even if you type in capital, eventually they'll be converted to lowercase. So that's what we're doing. Okay, so we have seen proper, that makes every first word capital, but now we're seeing lowercase, which converts all the characters to lowercase. I'll just click on this, hit enter, and you can see it's right there. So email, everything looks clean now, all lowercase. We want the domain, right? Domain. So this could actually be, let's say, company name. So let's edit it to make it, instead of Gmail and another, so we can say blue chip. Okay, blue chip. Then say this is Fortune 500. Let's say this is Excel. Okay, so this is Excel. Let's say this is Microsoft, for example, right? And this is Google, which is Gmail anyway, but let's just use Google so that I can get the domain. Okay, so we want to extract the domain from this. You'll probably be thinking about it. How do we do it? We have easy functions. You see, Excel makes life easy for us. So we can use the left, the right, the mid. The only challenge with that is the characters are not consistent, and we don't want to write separate formula for all of them. We want to write a single formula that we can fill down and it will apply for everything. For this reason, we'll be learning 3 functions. What are the functions? Let me have them here already. So proper, we learned lower already. So we'll be learning find. We've learned learn. Okay, where did I put learn? Learn is supposed to be here. Learn. So we'll be learning find and we'll be learning write in this case. Of course, other ones will come in. So let's look at it. How does learn work? We've seen learn. How does find work? So find. Now it says returns the starting position of one text string with another text string. Find is case within another text string. Find is case sensitive. So I want to look for the @ sign. It says find text. Okay, let's shift to. So the text I want to find, that's the @ symbol. Within which text? And you can see that this last argument is in square brackets, which is the start number. So I can ignore it. Okay. Of course, not in all cases, but they are optional. So we can ignore them. Excel always have a default value for you. If you don't like the default value, then you specify what you want. So I'll click on this. Now hit enter. So if I fill that down, so it says where this is what? 9. This is at 11. The @ symbol here is at 9. The @ symbol here is at 7. The @ symbol here is at 12. Okay. So we want to combine this function with write and with learn, so that we can be able to extract the domain that we want. Okay, that's why we did it one after the other. We're breaking it down. You know how learn work already. Now you know how find works. It just tells us the position. Okay, Now let's look at how write works. For example, write. How does write work? You select the text and it extracts characters from your right hand. That means from, in this case, .com, right? From com. So from the M there, it extracts a certain number of character. So you see, it says returns a specified number of character from the end of a text string. The end will be your right. So if I click this, this is the text I want to extract from, and I pass in 3. What do you think that will extract? Com, right? You're right. You can see it extracted com for me. But what I want to extract is everything before the @ sign. But then if I say let's count for the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So let's say I put 12, which is good. You see, I get blue chip, which is correct. If I fill it down, issues begin to happen. Now it's only picking 12 for them, and that's not correct for everything, right? How do we make sure we get the right thing? That's why we have to write nested function. We have to combine all of this function. If you need to watch this video again, right, because we're combining 3 functions and it might feel overwhelming if you're just starting out, do well to go back again. Do not worry, at the end of all the functions there will be exercises that you can practice with, something you can also do yourself apart from what you have here. So for this data set, you should find it in the description below, or you find a Telegram link where you can get the data set, or you can just type it out as you please. Okay, so how do we fix this? So I'll say right, but instead of passing 12 as a number, okay, what if I subtract? Now let's look at it this way. Let's do length for them. Length, I'll click this. Now I'm getting 21, right? I'm getting 21, 12. Now, do not forget that these are the numbers that we want, right? These are the numbers that we want. 9. So let's subtract this, mathematical. Do not get lost. Let me do a quick recap. Here, we learned find. Find returns the position of this @ sign. It tells us where we can find it. So if we count this, the first answer is 9. So when we count J, O, H, N, that's 4, dots 5, D, 6, O, 7, E, 8, @ sign 9. So it's telling us where it started from. And this is the entire length of the string from J to M. So let's subtract the 2. I'll say that is this minus this. So 12, and that is correct when we passed in 12 here. That's why it was able to extract the 12 characters. So if we fill it down, that means to be able to get this correctly, we need 14. So if I change this to 14, you can see it's now correct. It's now getting it properly. This is 9. If I change this to 9, that means it's now getting it properly. But of course, we can't do this for all of them. It doesn't make sense, right? What if we have a larger data set? So how do we fix it properly and professionally? That's where we use nested function. So I'll take all of these out. Okay, like I said, don't feel overwhelmed. You can come back to the video, write it down, practice one after the other. Okay, so I'll come back here and say write. I'll select the text. This is the text we want. Okay, then I'll say comma. Now, how many number of characters do I want to extract? That's where we now have the function for what? Length. Do not forget that we subtracted the length from the find. Okay, we subtracted the length that we did here. We subtracted the find. That means the position of this, the starting position, the index position for all the @ sign. We subtracted it from the total length of the characters. So that's what we want to do here. Len. I'll click on this text. So it's getting me the length of the text first. And I'm saying subtract the what? You now find. Yes, you can see that it's becoming a little bit much, right? But just take it slowly. That's why I broke the functions down first, and then you can do them over again. Okay, so we put find, and then I go back here. What do I want to find? I want to find the @ symbol. Okay, within which text? Within this text. Okay, you can see that they all maintain the blue color because I'm selecting the same place. and then I close it, and then I close the last bracket. Now let me explain this before I hit enter. Of course, right says, okay, we want to extract something from the right, from this end, in this card, in this value. But what is the number of character we want to extract? That is the length minus the starting position. So if this is 21 and this starting position is 9, so it will subtract it and end up with the number of characters it should extract after the @ sign. Okay, as I said, it's not that complex, it's simple, and you're getting it, right? So you can go over again one more time. Take your time, take it slowly, and then make sure it sinks in. So if I hit enter now, easy peasy, you get blue chip. If I fill it down, we get all the domains we want. Okay, we get all the domains that we want, which is nice. So let's move on. We're able to solve that problem now. You can see how it takes time. We have to think first that, oh, what can I use, what can I combine? Because in reality you'll be using nested functions, so you're getting a good foundation early, right? Unlike when you learn them in isolation without being able to think of the application on your own, right? The next thing, we have this. It says remove hyphens from the phone numbers and replace them with white space. So you see, some have hyphens, some don't have. So we just want to leave everything blank like this. Is that one that is correct here? We want to leave everything like this. This is the way we want to leave the phone numbers. Okay, so we'll put it here, phone, or just say telephone in this case, telephone. And how do we do that? We'll be using another function now called substitute. What does substitute do? Substitute lets you replace a value with another within a text string. Again, let's see how that works. We'll type equals to substitute. Okay, it says what is the text? This is the text. Old text, that means what do you want to replace? We want to replace space, right? So I'll open a quote, put the space in the quote, then close it. So it will look for all the spaces. No, we want to replace hyphens with spaces. Hyphen, then comma, open the quote. We want to replace it with space, right, which is the new text. Add a space, close the quote. Instance number is optional, so we can ignore it. You close it and you hit enter, and you can see that it has removed all the hyphens, right? All the hyphens. We can do way more with this, or way more than this, then we'll fill it down. So you see that. Clean. Now we have clean phone numbers, and you can see you're getting the hang of it. It's getting interesting, right? That's nice. All right. Now you can push yourself up further to do something like this. From this, you should only get the company name, and it should be in proper case. For example, blue chip. Blue chip like this. So think of it. How do you do that? Blue chip, right? Then the next one will be Fortune 500. No, think of it. Push yourself. Think of it. See how you can come up with that. That's an exercise for you. So that's an exercise for you. So think of how you can actually do that. Okay? Think of how you can do that. And if you do it, do well to leave a comment in the feedback section. Okay, let's see what you get. Now you get it done. So we have done this. We have removed hyphens, we've standardized the numbers that way. Now it says make the abbreviations department. Make the abbreviation typo. Make the departments, the abbreviation of the department all caps. You get the idea. So make the department abbreviation, let me put it that way, department abbreviation all caps. Okay, it's better this way. So what does that mean? You can see for okay, make the department abbreviation all caps. Good. Now sales is not an abbreviation, so most times you don't just jump into what you want to do, you think about it. Sales is not an abbreviation, marketing is not an abbreviation, finance is not an abbreviation. So the abbreviations here are just HR and IT. Okay. The question will now be, what if the data is large? We cannot easily tell or figure it out. Of course, that's the idea. You have larger data, but we're learning with small data. because what you can do with this, you can do with larger data as well. So you don't learn as if you'll be working with small data all your life. So you learn as if you'll be working with larger data. Okay, and that's why we're able to do this, right? We didn't just put a number directly in here, so that regardless of whatever the length is, it will always get us the correct answer. Now for this, how do we get it done? We have to think of how to make sure it doesn't do anything to this. Okay, and in this case, we can do a lot of things. We can check the length, we can check the we can extract this first to see the unique values we have. If you are using newer version of Excel, let's say 2024 and above, or 365, right, you should have the unique what's it called for you, the unique like this. Okay, you have it. If not, you won't have this. You have to do maybe remove, copy everything, paste it somewhere else, remove duplicates, so you can see the unique departments that you have. The same thing if you are using 365 or newer version of Excel, you should be able to do this in a very easy way instead of going through all of this. One easy way to do that domain is to use text after. Okay, very easy. Text after. You pick the text and you put the delimiter, which is the @sign. Okay, and then you close it. Easy peasy, right? You close it like that. So other things are optional, you can see. So I can just hit enter and you can see it came out nicely. If I fill it down, they all came out. No issues. They came out nicely. You see that? So they all came out nicely just with that newer versions of Excel. But of course, I know not everyone is using the 365, or you're using a newer version of Excel, let's say 2024 and above, or probably you might have it in 2021. I'm not sure. We can check it. If you do have it, congratulations to you. But if you don't, of course, this is an efficient way to handle it as well. Take your time, go over it, master it. Okay. Now here we have to think of a way to skip it. Like I said, there are different approaches to it. But in this case, we just check for if the length is greater than 2. That's when we want to change it to uppercase. Else, it should just return what is there. I know we're going into logical statement already, and that's why I put it next. That's why I put it next. It's intentional that I put it next, okay? Because other ones here as well might need us to apply the logical function. Would have started with it, but I decided that, okay, since the logical function is not too much here, let's go with the text function. Easy and simple. Alright, so what do? We'll put departments, the clean version of departments, yeah. I will say equal to, we'll do, that is if. Okay, how does if works? Very simple. We'll do it properly in logical statements, or logical functions, I mean. If says, give me a condition. If that condition happens to be true, or if that test happens to be true, but and I put a there, so experiment. So if it's true, then tell me what to do. But if this is not true, tell me what to also do. So it says logical test, value if true, and value if false. So the first thing is, if the length of characters here, okay, is greater than 2. So this is our logical test. We're saying count the number of characters here. And this is one reason why you should look out for trimmed spaces. Okay, let me escape. If we have, for example, white space here, it's going to escape this guy, right? So you might want to combine even way more functions inside your length. You might want to trim first before you do that, okay? But for the case of this video, I will not do that, so that it doesn't get too complex and then you get lost in the midst of it. Maybe some later videos based on requests, we might do some advanced and a little bit complex things where we simplify them, okay? The highest form of complexity is simplicity. You can only get value from it when you understand it, right? So let's keep things simple as we move on. So say equals to if, so we check the length of characters, length, if the length of this character is greater than 2, the right hand is greater than sign, comma, what do you want to do? If it's greater than 2, that means it's probably not abbreviated. Like I said, there are different approach to this. So, but this is the approach we're taking. If the character is longer or greater than 2 after counting, we should not do anything, just return the value itself. That means return the value itself. What should I do? Return us the value. Else, then we'll now say uppercase. Now we are using uppercase. So say upper, and we'll click on the text, and then we'll close it. So if the length of the character, so we can have spaces here, it don't matter, it's just for readability. It's looking nicer now. And add spaces here, and add spaces here. Okay, so if the length of character after counting, we have seen length before, is greater than 2, that means it's probably not an abbreviation, so just give us whatever is there back. But if it is, then convert it to uppercase. So hit enter, and you can see sales returned back as sales. And if you fill it down, you can see HR and IT has been properly returned, which is nice, right? Which is nice. It's better this way than the way it's looking here. Good. So I've been able to answer question 5. We're coming to the end. We're wrapping up already. The next thing is extract the year and the month each employee joined the company. I'm not sure why I have that in here. Is that supposed to be under the date time function? But it's okay. That means we are looking at the date time function in advance. Okay. Or let me just take it out from here. Okay, I'll just take this out from here. Oh, okay, I see why now. The question 7 is building on it. I just read it here. So I knew I put that there for a reason, but I was not sure. But now I'm sure. So question 7 is there. So it's building on question 7. So that will give us a glimpse into date and time function. So let's see how we can get that done. And I want to add new columns to shift that. This clear formatting. Okay. So here I'll say the year, the month, and about employee. About employee. About employees. About employees. So let's leave it that way. Alright, so how do we extract the month, the year, and all of that? So we'll just say year, and then we'll select this. That's all. It returns the year for us. Easy peasy. So nothing serious. We'll fill it down. The month. Of course, I'm a bit faster because we'll still look at it, but it's simple and straightforward too anyway. So the month. So this is January 1, and this is October and November 11. This is February. This is that should be July, right? And this is May. Okay. So this is what we have. I've been able to answer this question. Extract the month and day, the month and year each employee joined us, which we have just done. Now let the top management know the department where all employees work and work in, and what year they joined the company. So int, this is where it should appear. John joined the company in the year 2000 and whatever it is, and he works in sales. So this is how we should frame it, right? This is how we should frame it. And if you look at it, we're picking just the first name. But in this case, we'll pick the entire name, not to make things complex. So you can now push yourself. Okay. Of course, I'll do that in this video. We'll see how to pick just the first name, and then we'll continue from there. But let's keep it simple first. So another function we use there, even though it's a date and time function, is as we used substitute, right? Substitute. We used year, which is date and time. We use month, and now we want to use concatenate. Concat, and we'll probably use left. Okay, that's to get it done, and I believe that should give us the end. So italicize this. Control I. Italicize this because they are not textual functions as it were. We only use them. They're like helper functions for us. Okay. They are like helper functions for us. Okay, I think I just left align this instead of the way I have it. Okay, let's keep it this way. Let's do this, then make it light gray. Okay, all right, so those are the functions used. You can do a shift, add a space there, looking nice. I zoomed in for you so that you can see my screen clearly, so you can zoom out. It doesn't have to pop into your face. All right, so about the employee, this is where we use concat. Concat is a function we can use to join words together. Okay, how do we do that? We say equals to concat. Okay, you can see it here. Concat. Of course, this does the same thing. Just joins or concatenates a list or range of text. So how do we do it? Let's do something simple first. Okay, so let's say I have John. So we understand how it works, right? John, and I have Doe, and I want to combine these two into a single string, so I can say concat. I'll select the first text, add a comma, select the second text. Of course, we still have to adjust something here, but let's do it and see how it works first. And you can see we have the two names combined. So this is the idea of what we want to do. But of course, for this one, we want space between them. So double click and add space. How do we add it? Open a single quote, put the space inside the single quote, inside the double quote, I mean. Close it and add another comma. See, any spaces we add there is just for readability. The spaces it takes literally is the one that goes inside a quote. Okay? Anyone outside a quote like this is just for readability. The one that it takes literally, it is the one that goes inside a quote. Okay? Why is quote so powerful? You can think of it as when you quote someone, you're saying this is exactly what he said, not to be changed, not to be altered, right? And that is why even if you Google something, you see Google suggests different things to you. They say, is this what you mean? Or suggest other results to you. But if you want exactly what you're looking for, you put your search query, whatever it is you want to search for, put it in double quotes, and you see that you get exactly what you search for. Because you're saying, do not alter this, do not alter it, right? It applies in other tools that you might learn. When you put these in quotes, you're saying don't change them, keep them this way. Okay, good. So the text, the space it takes literally is the one that goes inside this code, this single one. Other ones outside are just for readability purpose. So now let's see how it looks like. You can see now we have a nice little space. You can see in the basic form how it works. Concat. Okay, so I can take this out. I can take this out because they're white spaces. So concat joins two or more words together. And also we can type in things. Or let's say John is Doe. Let's see that again. You see, that allows us to do that. As long as we put them in double quotes, we can also do that. Okay, you can see it says John, which is G6. We're saying whatever is in G6, which is John, is Doe, right? So nice. You have a hang of concat. Now let's do it. Let's use it to combine all of this together. What are the reasons we might want to do this? For the sake of updating things. So in case we update anything here, probably the person's name or the person's address or whatever it is, let me undo that. Right? For example, let's say this person is Jack, and we update that. We can see how it updates our value directly. One of the reasons, one of or any reasons we might want to do that. Okay, so I'll take this out. We see it's where we're left with is because they are empty. I'll delete this as well. Now we have a hang of it. So let's get this done together. Okay, one thing is important. When you're learning, learn mindfully. So as you're writing your formula or whatever you're doing, your mind is interpreting or visualizing what your output will be, right? It might feel like a little bit of struggle because you're thinking and doing. It might feel a bit hard, but it's the best way. You will thank yourself for it later. Oh, I think you learn better that way. It might be a little bit challenging, like I said, in a regular way, but when you learn that way, you visualize what your outcome could be even before you see it. It strengthens what you learn. Okay, so let's carry on and just get it over with. CONCAT. Now, what is the first text? I want the person's name. Okay, I want the person's name. In this case, just the first name, but for now, we'll just pick the entire name. So I want this clean version, of course. So I'll pick the clean version. So in my mind now, I'll read it as John Doe. Okay, that's what I've typed in my mind. So I'll open a quote because I want space. I'll put a space first. And I'll say joined. That's John Doe joined the company. So what is the company? Now, if we had done the blue chip thing, right? If we had done the blue chip thing, say we removed all the .com here, right? We could have just clicked this directly, and of course we can still do that, okay? But the formula might look way complex and long, and like I said, I don't want to bring in all of that. However, I will do it for those who want to push themselves, they want to challenge themselves, they want to feel, let's say we can handle it, okay? That's fine, but let's finish the basic one we want to do first. So John Doe joined the company, okay, in the year. I'll close the quote because I want to actually select the year. So a space, then a quote, so that we can have space before the year and before join. So I'm saying John Doe joined the company in the year. I'll add a comma again for the next string, even though they are optional, right? But I know that I'm not done, right? So they joined the company in the year. I'll click the year 2023, right? I'll put another comma. I'll open a quote, space before, and E, of course, in this case, because it is a E. Now, this might be a little bit tricky because what if we have a she? So let's just put and works in, we'll have the department. So space, comma, and then we'll pick the department. So where do we have it? In sales. Yeah, I know this is long, but it's simple, right? Very simple. You're getting the hang of it. So we probably want a full stop, or we might not, but for now, let's leave the full stop. It's not so important. So this is what we have, right? So what we're saying is John Doe, because that is what is in A11. If we scroll, just to check, you see John Doe, blue color, John Doe joined the company in the year 2023. You see the red color, F11, red color, and works in sales. Okay, now all this comma will not appear. Why? Because they are just meant for us to separate our argument. If we want to see an actual comma, that will have to go inside the quotes. So if I want to see it here, I can just put it here. So that means after year, a comma will be displayed. Okay, let's hit enter, and boom, you can see John Doe joined the company in the year 2023 and works in sales. Of course, I don't want the comma, so I'll take it out. So John Doe joined the company in the year 2023 and works in sales. Nice, right? You can see how nice it is. Of course, for the ones that want the challenge, we're coming there. We can pick the actual company. We can pick the first name only. But we'll be doing the first name only in here as well, because it's part of what we should learn, which is another function called the left, right? The left. Okay, why is this? Okay, so it's called the left. Oh, okay, I see. It added the, what's it called here? Declare formatting from here. Okay, good, nice. So we added the left here. So let's see how we can use the left. We have used the right. Right means it's extracting text from the right. Left here means want to extract text from the left. Now it can be a bit complex because the first name are not all the same. So we'll probably be doing something we did here. Okay, so not to complicate things, but it's also a way of reinforcing what we learned. I'll go ahead and do it. Let's fill this down first for everybody to be sure they are all correct. So James Smith, joined the company in 2022, right? And works in marketing. Good, works in marketing this 2024, right? Works in finance, right? Joined 2023, works in HR, joined 2021, works in IT. So we have our about employee all nicely done. Yeah, you can give yourself the accolades. If you have come this far, you've been patient, you took your time. Yeah, it shows your level of commitment, okay, which is a good thing. Now you can go over the video again, take it even slower, right, and get it done. So let's do the advanced part or the tough part of it, where we pick only the first name and we also pick just the company name in proper case. So let's get it done. You want to give it a try? Do also give it a try. If you want to see it, let's do it together. You can pause the video, give it a try first, and then let's do it together. CONCAT. Now another version of CONCAT, hold on before I come there, is using the Ampersand. Here we use a formula, okay? We can also use an Ampersand. So I'll use an Ampersand for this second one as a good practice. So I'll take all of this so that I can see another way to do it. So to use an Ampersand, we're not typing any function. You can consider it as mathematical method, like raw method, no function, no function, just directly. We're doing it practically ourselves. So we'll say James Smith. I'll just click the person. Now the difference is that I join all the words using an hand sign. First of all, I don't type any function name like CONCAT. Second, instead of using commas, I will use and sign, which is the Ampersand. So I'm saying James Smith. Combine that with joined, okay, so I'll say joined the company in the year. Now instead of comma, don't forget, I'll do what? Ampersand in the year. I'll select the year, then another Ampersand. Now do what works for you. I mean, you pick a method. So in the year 2022 and works in, we'll close the quotes, I'll use another Ampersand, and then we'll select marketing and then enter. You can see James Smith joined the company in the year 2022, and now I omitted the sign, the space here. I'll go back there and put it before the hand. And yes, and works in marketing. So if you fill it down, it says works in finance. I think there are double spaces here. Seem like that's right. Okay. Fill it again. Good. It says works in marketing. Works in marketing. And you can see everything is correct. So if we update this person value to 2019, you see it gets updated immediately, right? So I'll undo that, and that is how it is done. So you can either use the Ampersand method or you can use the CONCAT method. So pick what works for you. Go over the video again if you need to. Okay, do what works for you. Now for the final challenge, if you have given me a good shot, that's nice. Let me know in the comment section if you will solve it before we do it together. Okay, there's no harm in trying. It's good to give it a try. So when you now learn it, it will be better. So let's go ahead with the CONCAT function in this case. Now the first thing is I want to extract the first name of all of those people. There are quite a number of approaches to that. I can create a new column first, but in this case I don't want to do that, right? So I just want to what? Extract this. So you probably think about it together. Oh, let's do the left. Okay, now let's see how left works first. Like I said, we break down the formula down first. You see how it works before we combine it. Okay, you see how it works before we combine it. So let's look at it. If I say left, we have seen right, right? I've seen the right. So if I say left and I click this, how many number of characters do I want to extract? 4, and boom, I get John. For the next person is 4. For this person is 7. For this person is 3. For this person is 5. right? So that's how it works. If it's right, if I change this to right now, I'll be getting do with the space. I'll be getting do with the space. Okay, running down battery, I'll be getting do with the space. You can see. If I change it to 3, I will not get the space. So remember now how right and left works. We have mid as well. Okay, we have mid as well, and that's probably what we'll use here. Okay. I see. This is what I was supposed to use for the dates. For the date. Okay, instead of using the year and month, right? I knew I was supposed to use a textual function. That's what I plan to use. So instead of using this year and month, we're supposed to use mid, okay, and left. So this is where we should have used mid and left. So mid and then left. No, that will be left first and then mid. Left and mid. Okay. I think the question should have been from the ID. I should have changed that. Okay, extract the month and each employee joined using the ID or from the ID. So using the ID, like I said, it's just raw thoughts using ID. So no pre-recording session, pre-recording rehearsals and all of that. So just natural flow and all of that. Good. Let's come back here. And of course, you learned a new function already here. So I'll take these two out and let's see. Of course, this will be empty, but once we update it, everything comes back in line. So how do we extract the year the employee joined us? We can do a left. So click on this, and we know it's how many characters? 4 characters. And I'll put 4 and enter. And then it has extracted the year for us. So I'll fill it down, and all the years are back. So if you check our formula, all the years are back in there. The next one is to extract the month from the ID. So the month is the full stop. That means after the full stop, the values we have there. So in this case, we can use left, we can use right. So we'll be using mid. We'll say equals to mid. This takes 3 arguments. Okay. The text itself first. Now, because it's not a actual middle or the actual middle, we have to specify the starting position. So for us, the starting position is what? Is, if we count, after 4, 5, 6, right? It's 6 for everything. We have 4 digits for the year, then a dot, then the month. So 6 digits, that's the starting position. How many characters do we want to extract? Just 1. And then we'll click enter. So if we fill it down, boom, we get what we want. Just exactly as before, right? Exactly as before. We see our function is still intact. Everything is working well. Good. So we learned that already. And we'll see how that works. So we've learned all of this function: trim, proper, lower, len, find, right, upper. I omitted upper. Yeah, upper is one of the things we learned. That's probably when we're doing departments. So that's after the blue chip, after the phone number substitute. So we have upper in here. Okay, so you can go over it again, like I said. So I've been saying. Now let's do the final one. Yeah, why is this here? Okay, not sure why I have that there. Now, the last thing we want to do, we have done it already. So it's just for those who want to go advanced. Let's say you want to challenge yourself, push yourself. So let's do it. If you have tried it out, that's a good shot. It's worth giving the shot. But now I want to use just the first name, okay, and the company actual name, not just company for everything. And it should not contain the .com, right? So let's see how to get that done. Let's put it here. Just stick here. So say equals to CONCAT. The first text is John, but in this case, not just John. So we want to do something like, now you can see that the formula is not showing, right? So this is the best time now to pay attention more to the formula bar up here. So you see the formula bar up there. I can just go in there to edit, okay? So anything I type, you see it. So we can say left, left. Okay. Then what is the text? We select our text now. You can see up here. Now the number of characters, how many characters do we want to extract? We already know how to do this. So we can do our length again. We open a length, we select this, close, minus, find, or in this case, let's do find space, right, in or within here. Okay, let's do find space within here. We'll close this, close this. Let's hit enter first. Hold on, let me see what I missed out. This is one. Okay, we have one more. I'll close that. I won't accept the correction. So it says one more parenthesis is missing. So you can see the color. I left this out. I'll add it myself. So you can see we have John. Let's fill it down first. Let's drag a bit down to see if that's correct. So you can see that is correct for all of them. It picked properly. So in this case, we did not use minus, right? Because we're using the left, so we just use the find. So we're saying anything before the space. So it will give us the starting position, right? It returns the starting position. So we can now say, now do not forget that automatically this includes the space, right? So we can now say -1. Yeah, you can tell already that, okay, this is getting way complex, it's getting crazy, but it's simple, right? It's simple. Why are we using -1? It find tells us the position where the space is, right? So if the position here, for example, for Johnny to be 5, then we only want to extract 4 characters. Right? Now the picture is clear. Good. So we are saying subtract 1 from the value this returns and then get us the names of the people. So of course you will see a visual difference. Everything is just showing the name properly. So good. Now one by one we are going to get the name. What is the next thing? Joined. So let's continue editing our formula. I'll add space. Okay. So I will say comma joined the now the company. So let's close this again. Let's add a comma. Now I want to select the company, and we know we want to select everything before the what? The .com, right? We already know how to do that. Easy peasy. So we'll just say again left, right? We just did that. Now it's reinforcing what you learned, right? We'll click on this blue chip. Click on blue chip, we'll do a comma, then we'll do a find. What are we looking for? In this case, we are looking for full stop, right? From C11 as well. So C11 as well. And if I close that, then we can still do one more thing to this. We can still make, because everything will be in lowercase, so we can make it a proper case. But let's look at what this returns first. Let's take it step by step. So this is what we're doing now. I'm saying this is what we want, left, so I need to close the left. So with this, this is find, we close the find, this is the left, we close the left, and everything is closed. So let's hit enter. So you can see, join the blue chip. Okay, let's do minus. Now in this case, you can see the issue about not adding -1. So this included the dot, but because it was space for this ones, the space did not show before. So but now when we added -1, we took out the space. So that's what we'll do for this as well. We'll do a -1. Okay. And we hit enter. You can see blue chip. So we'll fill it down. Oh, nice. Everything is coming together. Right? I know you're saying this is going wild, but it's nice. You're getting the hang of it. That's the best thing. Okay. Now, we want this company names to be in proper case, right? So how do we do that? We can now wrap this entire left function in a proper, right? As I'm taking it little by little, step by step, it's getting way complex, and I know, right? So we'll do this. I'll do this. Close here. Let's be sure all our brackets are properly closed, right? Good. So if I enter, Now you can see it's now showing in proper case all the way down. So you can pay attention to this place. That's why we expanded the formula bar, so you can see how everything works. And it's getting long. So we have the John joined the blue chip in the year. So the next thing now is comma. Then we'll open a quote in the year. Okay, let's take that out. In the year. In the year. Close the quote. Comma. And then we'll just select the year this time. Right. We'll just select the year this time. Because we have already extracted it, right? We've already extracted it, so just select the year. When we get to datetime function, we'll see how we can convert this month to actual names, right? So that I can show January, February, March, April, May, and all of that. So in the year, whatever that year is, year 2023, and you can see if we fill it down now. Oh, nice! So everything came out nicely, just as we have up here. We're not done. And say, and walks in. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. This is a lot already. And walks in, by simple, you're getting the hang of it, right? Good. So walks in, comma, and then I'll pick sales. In this case, for the first person, I'll pick sales and enter, so you can see everything is now clean. Fill it down, so make it left aligned. It's looking well. Good. Just like above, even way cleaner, right? So this is works in sales, this works in marketing, this works in finance, this works in this, and this works in that. All nice looking, well put together. Okay, yes, and this brings us to the end of what? Textual functions. If there are other functions you want to learn under text that we can apply on text, we've covered quite some major ones. We still have some interesting ones as well, such as search. No, you can check them out. How do you check them out? Let me just click this, so you see everything we learned so far. We learned string, we learned proper, lower, length, find, right, substitute, upper, left, mid, concat, or left again. Let me take that out. So you can see we learned quite a good number of functions with a proper application. So you didn't just learn the functions, you know how to apply them, right? You know how to apply them. You see how we, together we thought about what to do, and then how we came up with our solutions. So to see other functions under text, you can come to the formulas, and you see how nice it is to have logical functions first, right? Because other things like build up on them, intertwined somehow. You can see we use logical functions. Did we eventually do that? Yeah, I think we did. Yeah, for this. So we'll come here, click on text. You can see array to text, clean. We have clean. We have them like that. Find exact. Okay, we did find. We have exact. We have number value. We have text after, text before, text join, text split, right? Text join, just like concatenation, right? So using delimiters and all of that. So value to text and all. So feel free to explore any of this. If you have questions, drop in the comment section below. If there are certain functions you want me to make videos on, if there's a good number of requests for that, I can proceed to do that as well. So yes, it's a lot. We have learned a lot. Take your time to absorb it. Go over the videos again. Watch again and again and again. And make sure you understand them, you apply them. The data set will be available for you to follow along. And in some cases, you can look at some things again and push yourself that, I went further to do this. This is what I did. I went further to do this. I went further to do this, all the way like that, right? And yes, we'll see again in the next video where we'll be learning logical functions. Until then, bye.